How's it going, my SAAB friends? Today I want to be discussing some of the parts that I got for my 2008 SAAB 9.3 Aero project car. And if you're not familiar with it, go ahead and click up top here. I do have a playlist, and it's pretty much going to the point where I'm at now, where I diagnosed the engine, and unfortunately the engine is not good. Yes, it's good in a sense that it's the 2.8 liter V6 turbo, the B284, but it's not good in the sense that it needs a head gasket kit. Once I diagnosed it, I did a little more research, and this is the point that I'm at. It took me to a few great SAAB resource websites, SAAB parts, the SAAB site, so on and so forth, but primarily they were all around the exact same price for the head gasket kit, which it's $549.23 plus tax, plus shipping, doesn't even include the head bolts. That hurts. That is very expensive. I did a little more research, and I stumbled upon this part number by this brand. I'm not even going to begin to try to pronounce that, but it's not even in the United States, at least not this set on eBay. It's coming out of the United Kingdom. It converts over to $209.19, shipping $34.55, and of course plus tax. And then because I live in the United States, it's coming from the UK, and given the circumstances with the current pandemic, who knows when I'm going to get this kit. It's definitely by far priced way better than anything from SAAB, but it is an aftermarket brand. Now, as far as comparison with this brand versus the OEM is the original equipment manufacturer, so I cannot compare, and I don't necessarily think it's apples to apples. But as far as price goes, it's a fantastic price. It's, after tax, it's right around the halfway point of what this kit from the original manufacturer, the SAAB, costs. So what I ended up doing with this information was I thought about purchasing it, but I figured I can do a little bit better. And going off the photos, I determined exactly what I needed. There's two banks of cylinders, there's two heads. So you have two head gaskets, two valve covers. Those are the stem seals for the valve covers. That's what the bolts go through. You have the upper intake manifold gaskets, the exhaust manifold gaskets, the two cam seals, and then these ones, it took me a little while to figure out, but those are for the throttle body. Those are throttle body gaskets. Now, this kit also does not include the head bolts. And after tax and stuff, we'll say it's around $250. So it's already half of what the original manufacturer wants for it. So I did a little more research, and it took me to rockauto.com. This is not a paid advertisement by any means, but I do buy a lot of stuff from Rock Auto when I'm working on vehicles. But it's very easy, punch in the vehicle information, and you kind of go through. But Rock Auto does not currently, at this point in time, offer a head gasket kit. So what I ended up doing was, because I know of all of these parts, I kind of took an inventory of it, and I slowly went through the list and picked up or added to the cart everything that I may possibly need. So when I ended up with that, the total price for everything was $203.19. Now that is excluding tax, and the biggest factor when looking at Rock Auto is in fact the shipping. Oftentimes they ship from multiple warehouses, and in my case, they were shipping from 3 different warehouses, so that was at least another $30 to $35. So we'll say we're right around $240 with Rock Auto. Now that is with the 2 sets of head bolts. Again, the OEM will say $550 minus head bolts. eBay with this brand, $250 after tax minus head bolts. And then Rock Auto will say $240 after tax plus shipping. All I'm saying is do your homework, and you can certainly save a buck. Quit rambling. Let me show you the parts that I received. Here is the giant box of parts that I ordered. Let me show you what I got. So I got a lot of them. And I will put all of the part numbers in the description. So for starters, you have the head gaskets. I chose the Mahle, and I don't know if all of them are like this, but they are the multi-layered gaskets, but it's actually 3 separate metal gaskets all sandwiched together. They got this nice rubber seal around here. So I would say this is very comparable to the OEM. And of course you have both of them. There is two heads, so you need both. And they are different. They are not the same. There's one part number, and there's the other. And then offhand, I don't know what is the front cylinder and what is the back, but I know this one kind of juts out a little bit more than the other. So that is the whole reason why I'm doing this engine, is because one of the head gaskets went. Now, actually, we'll go on to the head bolts. These are the head bolts. They are both the same. And, well, I don't have a knife, so I won't be opening those up. But they are torque to yield bolts, so you will certainly need to replace them, and you'll need one box per cylinder. Those are the part numbers for the head bolts, and that brand is Enginetech. Moving on to the cam seals, National. This is a very popular auto part brand for seals and bearings. These are the part numbers. They are the same seals. You'll want to replace both of those. Part numbers on those. Now, I dealt with Ultra Power brand for a number of years. I don't really particularly care for their packaging on this. This is the valve cover gaskets, and the stem seals right in here. It's kind of hard to see, but that, if you're not familiar with the stem seals, that's what the bolts go through, and that's the gasket. But yeah, I'm not too pleased with how they package this, with it all like twisted. I'm sure it'll be fine once you lay it out and put it in the valve cover, but it kind of drives me nuts. But yeah, Ultra Power, working at an auto parts store for a number of years, they do sell some high quality parts. I'm not familiar with their gaskets, but I know I've purchased some lifters and stuff from them before. Now, if you noticed, this kit did not come with the spark plug tube seals. On the car, if you noticed, when I pulled out the original coils, I do have the diagnosing video up here. These stem seals were in fact bad. What was happening was the coils go into these, and they were leaking and getting oil onto the coil and then burning on the coil. So this crap on the side, to me it seems like the valve cover gaskets have been leaking, kind of getting on the sides of these and working their way down. But I would say these are definitely past their prime. A lot of times you can actually get a valve cover gasket set with the stem seals. This particular brand, it did not include it. I think the Felpro brand does. And this is the paired spark plug tube seals. Moving on, intake manifold gasket sets. That's these right here, these two. Now this one, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if that's the plenum or what. I think this is the only brand on Rock Auto that included this. So I'll have to do a little more digging and find out, but I know for a fact those are the upper intake gaskets. And these again are the Ultra Power brand. And if you notice, it actually says exhaust manifold gasket, but that 100% is not an exhaust manifold gasket. You definitely have this mislabeled, and I have checked the part number from what I ordered to what was shipped, and also in the listing, and they all say intake manifold gasket, and then you can actually kind of tell the shape of it compared to the original one. It's just, I'm not sure what that tan one is. I ended up picking up a new drain plug. Mine is rather stripped out. This was super cheap. It does come with a new gasket, 12 by 175, and then the O2 sensors, the oxygen sensors. And these, I didn't really pick a particular brand. Apparently I got Ultra Power on that, and then Walker. One's the upstream and one is the downstream. Don't remember which is which offhand. The one is tremendously more expensive. This one right here is more expensive. I think this is the upstream. Yeah, I'm fairly certain this is the upstream. The upstream was 70 bucks, was the best price I found with this Walker. Now Walker, they sell a lot of aftermarket exhaust. When I say aftermarket, they do a OEM redesign and they just make it cheaper. I've had a lot of good luck with their exhaust systems. Didn't really know before the other day that they made O2 sensors, so I'm gonna give it a try. And then this is the downstream. The downstream sensors, they're fairly cheap. There's a different connector on it. Multiple different brands, but this was the cheapest. This was like 30 bucks, that same ultra power band. And then the connector on this one is probably hard to see, but it's a lot different. So 100 bucks in O2 sensors. That's just because I'm being precautionary and because there was so much coolant in the exhaust. I figured these sensors definitely need replaced. One thing I don't have yet that I'm still waiting on in this pile of parts are the exhaust manifold gaskets from eEuroparts.com. That's going to be the exhaust manifold gaskets for $7.24 a piece. You will need 2 of them, 1 for each cylinder obviously, and they are going to be the same. And that's the part number, the Victor Rhines. You may actually be able to search this part number and get it elsewhere, but by far, at least at this point in time, eEuroparts coming in clutch. They are by far the cheapest. They're going to be $20 after shipping and tax, at least to me, whereas say SAABparts.com, well, I've ordered numerous parts from them as well, and they've been great. Their price is rather up there, back ordered at nearly $20 a piece. So you can save a lot of money by just going with eEuroparts.com on the exhaust manifold gaskets. Just unfortunately, shipping is going to take a little longer than Rock Auto, but Rock Auto didn't offer them. It's definitely worth the wait. So all in all, this is by far the cheapest parts you can pick up to replace the head gasket set on your B284 SAAB. So hopefully this video has been helpful. I know I rambled a lot and probably kind of jumped around, but I wanted to share the fact that if you have a head gasket issue with your SAAB, you don't necessarily have to go with SAAB OEM parts, because I know it can kind of seem scary and kind of be sticker shock when you figure out the price of just the parts alone, nearly more than a used motor. So depending on where you live and your availability to parts, I would definitely price things out. Heck, maybe even go to your local parts store and see what they can provide you. But by far, 10 to 1, rockauto.com tends to be more cheaper on parts. It's just shipping can be very questionable, and their prices are always shifting, and so are the brands. So I'm going to throw the part numbers in the description, and I really hope this helps somebody out. I know there's not a lot of research on these head gaskets for these SAABs. It's a very questionable area, and hopefully this video helped. If it helped you out, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, be sure to drop a comment down below. And as always, be sure to subscribe. I have tons of other videos, especially SAAB stuff, that you can take a look, and hopefully it helps you out. But in the next video, I'm really hoping that I get the engine back together, back in the car, and running and driving and going on my merry little way. So be sure to subscribe to catch that video coming up here shortly. And I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.
You want to be